The ship reached light speed in 0.87 of a milli. She punched into the void, and at that instant the Titania rocked like something huge had hit her. Nonetheless, she emerged at the designated point in a handful of micras and immediately decelerated to pulse speed. The Titania vibrated horribly and felt like she was about to come apart. "Damage report!" demanded the Admiral. "Coming now, sir. We have fractures along sectors 9, 10 and 11 aft from decks 19 through 27. Total loss of atmosphere, sir. Number 4 engine is non-compliant. Seal off the decks. Shut down number 4. Maintain pressure in all other compartments. What hit us, number 1? No idea, sir. It's probably many light years behind us now. Bring her about. I have to see if the wormhole is stable." "Yes, sir." As the ship came about, Verdun saw the wormhole. It appeared intact. "Can we get a reading, number 1? "Yes, sir. The wormhole is weakening." "How long have we got?" "Hard to say, sir. Possibly a micra, maybe less." Verdun clenched his fist. "Would they be aware of the problem?" "Not if they're preparing to jump. All power would be channeled to the light engines, sir." "What happens then?" "No one knows, sir. It's never happened before." The Admiral looked around the bridge. "Does anyone know what might happen?" Yes, sir." It was a young cadet barely old enough to have a uniform. The Admiral looked at her and instinctively thought she was probably a dignitary's child who'd been given special treatment, but shook off the idea immediately. "Give me your thoughts." "There are several possibilities, sir. They could simply emerge at a point between the beginning of the jump and here, many light years from us. They could be evaporated by the destruction of the vortex. They might even be thrust into another dimension. It's untested science, sir," explained the cadet. "Your best guess, cadet." The young female gulped, clearly feeling the pressure she was now under. "Well, sir, we created the power of a neutron star and then punched into it. That's an awful lot of power, which we have allowed to dissipate naturally after our previous jumps. A collapse would, in my opinion, cause a tear in the space-time continuum, and any ship within the vortex at that moment would be pulverised, sir, turned to dust." "And are we talking the loss of one ship or many?" "Well, the journey to us is fractional time-wise, but in real terms there could be 20 ships or more in the vortex, even though we all go in one at a time. The space and time we know doesn't exist in the vortex, so even though we're in and out in an instant, we're crossing a distance that can only be measured in millions of ships. Theoretically, we could all be in there at the same time." Verdun considered the explanation. "Thank you, cadet. I hope you're wrong." "Ship emerging, sir," called the chief observer. It was the super-heavy civilian cruiser DSS Cyansis. She carried 70,000 souls, and she came through unscathed, it seemed. "Check their status." The comms officer sent a radio burst to the Cyansis. She reported that she was suffering nothing more than a few burst power units in the light engines. Verdun didn't feel relieved. There were still 78 ships carrying 5 million travellers yet to make it through. "Sir, the Victorious is emerging." The Admiral watched and was thinking of his good friend Bichon being safe when a huge flash blinded him for an instant. It was quickly followed by a surge of energy that swept the Titania like a wave hitting a splinter. They were suddenly swept along at an astonishing velocity and tumbling uncontrollably. Many of the crew who weren't strapped in were flung about, hitting bulkheads, computers, controls and other equipment. Warning bells clanged and emergency lights flashed. In the confusion, Verdun barked out an order. "Fire the emergency dampeners!" The first officer, strapped into his flight seat, was fighting the G-forces and struggled to reach the control desk, but managed to flip the cover off the emergency control. He hammered a large button with his fist, which immediately engaged the dampeners. The ship was still writhing and rolling, but the computers were able to fire a series of retrobursts to dampen the effect. In a short time the Titania was stable, but still travelling at an incredible speed.